Heyo, welcome to Bloodhaus, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkel.
And I am podcasting from the bottom of a well. Drusilla Adeline, your co-host for today. And we're joined by someone else, Josh!
Very special person, friend of the show, friend of us, poster collector extraordinaire, Simpsons meme maker phenomenon, Jose Gallegos. Hi, Jose.
Hi. How's everybody doing? I'm existing.
Good. Very good. Yeah, very good. What's been going on, Drusilla? How are you? Have you seen anything good?
I'm pretty good. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night because I had a very cozy I do nothing Saturday night planned last night where I was just gonna lay on the couch, watch Northern Exposure, and go to bed early. And some teenager or child nearby decided to pull the fire alarm on my building.
Oh no.
And that went off for about an hour and a half until the fire trucks actually came, and then we're like, oh, false alarm, huh? And just turned it off.
Oh god.
And we'd never found out who did it. But I absolutely saw two neighbor kids next door scurrying around in the yard and then watching from their balcony. As we all pissed off walked out of our houses and reacted to it at 11 at night or something like that.
Oh no.
It's very annoying. But other than that, I'm good. I did watch a movie very recently that has been recommended to me by both of you, and in fact I watched it with both of you. I finally watched Angel. In fact, we did together.
Yes, we got together and had pizza at Drusilla's house and watched Angel 1982.
On VHS.
On VHS, which was a very special treat. Jose and I had seen it before. How did you like it? I mean, I know I was there. I saw you. So I know that you liked it.
Oh, I loved it. I had so much goddamn fun with it. It is you both mentioned beforehand, and I kind of thought you were joking, that it has a lot of heart and an emotional family core to it, but it actually really, really, really does. Dick Shawn and Rory Calhoun make such a lovely little family for her, and my beloved insane art dyke Susan Tyrrell. I'm now very stoked to watch Avenging Angel, in which Susan Tyrrell returns.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I've only seen the first one.
Oh, and there's a baby involved, and it's quite the spectacle watching this baby.
Jose, I'm guessing the sequel is trashier.
It's in a different direction. So it just picks up that Angel left her life on the streets, went to college, became a track star for some reason. But then
I mean, she can chase serial killers through Hollywood pretty well, so I buy it.
Yeah, it's just in a different vein with a different actress, and it's not bad. It's just it doesn't have the same heart that the original had. But I still maintain that the original, perfect movie, 10 out of 10. I need to understand time in that movie because that girl still does not sleep. She goes from the streets to school every single day and somehow doesn't burn out.
Yeah. And in between every moment, every time that you're like, she might have some downtime, she's like, I need to go study. And you're like, girl, your circadian rhythm is fucked.
Yeah, it's the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina problem that I talked about on that show. You know, Sabrina went to two schools full time, a witch school and the normal high school. And I kept pitching stories over and over again about how Sabrina fucks up because she's tired from going to two schools. And she would go to one school and the other school and go back to the first school in the same episode. It's like, when is she doing this? I love Angel so much. It's a movie that I grew up with. Of course, Maxxxine is referencing it heavily. I've told Drusilla this. The only time I've ever been attacked en masse, really, online is because I tweeted about watching Angel, and then I woke up. Before bed I tweeted, and then I woke up and I had thousands of ats basically about how I was a pedophile and a monster and blah blah blah. And I started to dig around, like, who are these people and how did they find me? It was all TERFs. It was like, I don't know how the TERFs found me, but I was just like completely under attack. It was actually kind of scary. I mean,
How did the TERFs find out about Angel also?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
It really gives like that someone within that community is a pedophile. And is like, here's a list of movie. Like, I feel like that in like Baby Doll or like on like a NAMBLA list or something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
to be honest, I think that a lot of it might just be superficial research, because really, when you just look at the poster of Angel, all it says on the tagline is "straight A student by day, Hollywood hooker by night."
And
so
she's got the
they probably
pigtails. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
God,
And
I love those pigtails.
you know, the character is 14. I mean, it is a trashy concept for a movie and a trashy movie, but it just is. It's actually really progressive. It's very like
it never
queer
sexualizes
friendly.
her. It's very queer friendly. It's very like both pro sex work, but also not like demonizing the activity and also not like glamorizing it in any way. It's like not Pretty Woman. It fits in very well with like Ken Russell's Horror from around the same time, from a few years later, which is also like LA streets and Teresa Russell's not having a good time.
Yeah. And all of its contemporaries, I would say, are just much, much sleazier than this is. I mean, it could have been a lot sleazier than it is.
Yeah. It's not Vice Squad.
Right.
I hate that movie. Hate it so much.
I've never seen it. I have been listening to the theme song from this called Something Sweet by a band called The Allies all week since we watched that movie. I mean,
It's a really good song.
Great new wave song. Unfortunately, not on Spotify, but there is an official music video from the Allies from the early 80s that is like VHS performance of them, VHS footage of them performing in a studio, of course. It's all like minimalist and white and early 80s chic, cut to footage from the movie in the classic style of soundtrack music videos. Pretty good.
I deeply miss those like 80s soundtrack music videos where they would take like a band almost no one has heard of or had like minor middling success. Like maybe they opened for Devo or something. And then they're like, we'll give you your biggest budget to make a music video as part of this film's budget. You write a song for our movie. And then we'll have characters from the movie intercut with your video or like popping in. Like I deeply, deeply adore the music video for the theme song to I Was a Teenage Zombie by the Flesh Tones, which is far better than the movie I Was a Teenage Zombie.
Yeah. We had the same thing in the 90s. We had Flagpole Sitta from Disturbing Behavior, which you mentioned a couple episodes ago. We had Teenage Dirtbag, I think, was from the movie Drive Me Crazy with Melissa Joan Hart. There's a huge 90s song that it's the theme song from Drive Me Crazy, and I can't remember which it is. But
the weirdest one from the 90s is they re-released Blister in the Sun by Violent Femmes in promotion for Grosse Point Blank, and then include footage from Grosse Point Blank in the music video for, because Blister in the Sun never got a music video. So it's like, oh yeah, it's the new 1996 hit Blister in the Sun.
It did feel that way when I was in junior high. Everyone got really into the Violent Femmes, which I had never heard of because I was, like 13 years old or whatever. But when I was in 7th grade, suddenly that song was everywhere on like alternative radio, and like all the kids at school were really into it, and it was just playing alongside of like Weezer and other new music.
And you can thank John Cusack for that.
Yeah. Jose, what about you? Have you seen anything cool lately besides Angel with us?
I've actually been doing the art house circuit, and 2 of Janice's latest releases I watched in theaters. So I watched The Stranger and The Fog, which I appreciate that movie. It's an hour too long for me, but it's an Iranian movie by this poet philosopher. I'm not going to pronounce his name because I'm going to butcher it. But essentially, the narrative is this woman, her husband got lost at sea, and all of a sudden this boat comes with this stranger who's just completely like beaten and battered, and he decides to marry her. And then all of a sudden a bunch of weird shit starts going on. There's a wolf that comes by, some random men dressed in black that just come on ships and just tell him, hey, we need to take you back. And he's like, no. And they're like, okay, we're messengers. So we're going to go tell the person that you said no. And then we'll come back and give you our response. But it was fascinating. I didn't completely love it, but I appreciated it. The one that blew me away, and I talked to Drusilla a little bit about this, was The Time Masters, because that movie, I was very surprised about it. It's directed by Renee Lalo, who did Fantastic Planet, and the art is done by Mobius. It is surprisingly really good, very 80s. By very 80s, I mean in the middle of the movie, the characters are just going through some trauma and they're like, let me sing this random song that has nothing to do with the plot, but we're just going to stop and sing a song.
Is this animated? I'm trying to picture it. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And the narrative is just, again, going back to Angel, it just has so much heart. And it goes in a direction that I didn't expect it to go. And when it finally ends, you're just like, wow, there's a lot to unpack in this movie. So I highly recommend that.
Deeply excited to go see The Time Masters. I love Fantastic Planet, and my partner Ivory loves Fantastic Planet, and she deeply loves that kind of animation. And I love like heavy metal and all those and
Ralph Bakshi kind of movies.
Yeah, and what's that like Nirvana one from the
Fire
Rock
and
and Roll.
Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
I love those kinds of movies so much. I'm outrageously excited to see The Time Masters. I hope that the Janus restoration is playing in LA for a little bit longer. I didn't want to have to drive out to the West Side to go see it. I'm hoping that Lemley will do it.
I think the only showing that they're doing in Los Feliz is on September 2nd. It's either tonight or tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
I mean,
as of this recording.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what my schedule allows.
Recommend that one.
Well, I'm going to forego my turn so that we can get into the movies, because we're doing 2 movies today. Jose has brought us a very special double feature. These are movies that I had never heard of before Jose brought them to us, but they have recently gotten a release from, I think, Vinegar Syndrome, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
As like a double disc kind of thing. And they are currently on Shudder for your perusal, dear listener. We are discussing, of course, we're discussing Vacation of Terror and Vacation of Terror Parte Dos, aka Part 2.
AKA Vacation of Terror Diabolical Birthday.
Yes. Yes, it does have a subtitle. Thank you. The first movie is directed by Rene Cardona III. And the second film is directed by Pedro Galindo III. So how did you hear about these movies, Jose?
So my boyfriend, in lieu of getting me Blu-rays and DVDs of things, he can't trust getting me a present because he always says, when I buy you something, you already have it. Because I just go crazy buying stuff ahead of time and pre-ordering things. So he'll annually get me a subscription to Vinegar Syndrome, and I'll just automatically get whatever their new release is. I got that Blu-ray of Vacation of Terror 1 and 2, and I told him, like, let's watch it. And then we started it, and I just thought, Vacation of Terror is a wild movie, and there's a sequel, so I need to see where this goes. And then I watched the second one. I was like, okay, this movie is even more wild. I appreciate that these exist. And as a Mexican, I'm like, I completely understand them.
Yeah. Now, would you guys say that these movies have a camp element to them?
I would. I think as part 2 especially.
I'm being sarcastic. The campiest movies I've watched in a while. Although I don't want to let that. I don't want to make fun of these too much because the first movie in particular was seemingly, if Wikipedia is to be believed, very popular and is considered, kind of groundbreaking in terms of practical special effects, especially of the supernatural variety where things are flying around and, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't want to make too much fun of like a beloved movie, especially one from a culture that's not mine, because then you kind of fall into the trap of like, early on we covered the Ukrainian film V, which was on at some point Mystery Science Theater 3000, but is like a really beautiful special movie. And so I want to be careful not to like be a terrible white person about these movies, but they are wild and very campy, but I would say really good and fun. And to quote Frankenfurter, have a certain naive charm about them.
I think these would be both like incredible like party movies to show to people.
Yes. Incredible.
They go places.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't want to be the white person that's making fun of it. I'll be the Mexican that makes fun of elements of it because there's a lot to unpack. And I think that what a lot of people anticipate is that with certain cultures and films that you don't necessarily have to have something that's a perfect film. And oftentimes when you look at just Mexican media, there's so much rough around the edges, and more often than not, Mexican communities watch these films not for the perfection, but just for the experience. So like when you watch a lot of telenovelas, most of them are the same story over and over again, but there's just a charm and kind of a familiarity that you watch with them. And similar with these films, which we can get into, but there's a familiarity with some of the things that are going on and some of the cultural touchstones that they have, while being completely batshit insane with that doll, which I can spend an hour talking about her just staring at things the entire time.
Oh, I love that doll. Every time her eyes move, I got even more excited every single time.
I mean, the doll is a great place to start. She is no doll that any child of the 80s would want to go near. She is the size of a child, first of all. She looks like a Soviet grandmama with a babushka. Like, she's just like, who designed this doll? How did she get to Mexico? She belongs in the Soviet Union. I love that doll. And I love the doll reaction shots, of which there are hundreds in this first movie. Just hundreds and hundreds of doll reaction shots where the eyes are just going left and right like an old, like, one of those cat clocks where the eyes just go back and forth.
Yeah, at times I feel like they just use the same shot over and over again. And that movie has to be like 80% just doll looking and then 20% plot.
Yeah. Well, speaking of plot, this has my favorite kind of movie opening, which is a witch burning. Like, I think that's the ideal way to open any movie, and this movie's got one, and there that doll is in 1880 in Mexico once again. And we are watching the execution of a very powerful witch whose powers are undone by an amulet, but also somehow her spirit goes into the doll or something. It's not 100% clear. And then we cut to the present, which is 1988 Mexico.
In which you get one of my favorite plot setups ever, which is a family inherits a house from a relative they forgot they had.
I mean, it's great. What a classic. They're all scared of the house. First of all, the star is Julio Aleman, who was a very popular telenovela actor, pretty famous. So that's great. He plays a wealthy man who's just bought a summer house for his family, which is not nearly as nice as his normal house. And the entire family is scared of it, including his adult niece, his 3 children, and his pregnant wife. Spooky things happen. Like, oh, sorry, go ahead, Jose.
Oh, no, I was going to say, to kind of back up a little bit, what's interesting about the first movie in relation to the second movie is that the first movie, when it starts off, as a Mexican, you see a lot of, again, going back to cultural markers, you see a lot of like modernity versus like the old way. And it's really interesting the way that it's pitted, because the first story is being told by an older and darker skinned man. He's telling it to say like, oh, this is how I got the amulet. And then when he trades it off, he says, oh, I'm not going to trade it for money, but I'll take your magic box over there. And it's like, you mean my cassette player? And he's like, yeah, I'll take your magic box. Yeah. And even with the family, there's an interesting pitting against modernity and the old way, because the kids just want to eat hamburgers, whereas the dad is eating the skull of a cow, a goat. I don't know exactly what it is, but growing up Mexican, you know that your grandparents always love to serve you tongue, brain, any of those things. And when you're growing up Mexican American, you're like, can't we just get a McDonald's burger? That's so much easier. So you already set the stage for this man is set in his old ways of what it means to be traditionally Mexican. So when he inherits this house, he's like, it's out in the country. We don't need to worry about anything. Everything's going to be fine. Whereas his wife's like, no, I have some concerns. And when they get there, they're just like, yeah, nothing works. The electricity doesn't work. Not even the fridge
there is no
works.
stove.
Right. These movies are also steeped in Catholicism without ever mentioning it directly. Like in this movie, we have a pregnant woman, which is like the most virtuous kind of person that you can be, of course, and a mother whose baby is in danger. That's very Catholic. You've got holy water in the second movie, like the silver coins. I mean, all of this stuff is just like very, very Catholic.
Yeah, to speak to that really briefly, it's just even in telenovelas, there's always a point where the Virgin's going to appear and somehow save the people that need to be saved and like punish the people that need to be punished. So that's completely in line with everything that we kind of consume.
I mean, the Virgin appears here, but only in a painting from the wall, and doesn't fare any better than a lot of the other stuff in this movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think Catholicism is a good match for horror because, first of all, it's very beautiful aesthetically. You know, it's very striking. The like ritual and the aesthetic of Catholicism is very beautiful. And it's also just like really mystical and borderline witchy, especially the way that a lot of, Latin American communities practice it with the saints and all of that sort of. It sort of borders on paganism in a way because they're bringing a lot of mysticism to it. So I think it really helps these movies. It's a really beautiful element.
Well, the Eucharist, like straight away, is like very, very witchy, very like supernatural and paganism. Like, you're going to eat the body of Christ and you're going to drink his blood every Sunday, and that gets you closer to him. Yeah. That's from a very like modern lens, a not very like Christian thing. It's an outrageously like very, very, very pagan ritual that's been like held over, and it's like beautiful and fascinating, interesting. And also like Catholicism has so much more of a focus on hell and damnation and demons and like the bad side of Christianity, whereas like Protestants are just like, make sure you drink your milk before bed so you can get through the pearly gates with your pearly whites. And you're like, okay.
Well, kind of to speak to, I was just going to say, kind of to speak to Josh's point regarding Catholicism, it's interesting seeing the trajectory of Mexican horror in relation to U.S. horror, because a lot of U.S. horror is built upon like monsters or serial killers or slashers or anything related to gore. And a lot of Mexican horror, there are those elements and there are those tropes used, but there's a lot more of a naturalism to it and a lot more emphasis on the monsters. But then when you start to get into the wackier, like Santo movies, where you have a luchador that's come in to fight a werewolf, you get a lot more of that infusion of Mexicanness. And to going back to the Catholicism, a lot of practicing Catholics, you're either extremely devout to God and only believe in the Bible and all that, or you're a person that blends like Santeria and a lot of kind of these side religions into your Catholicism. So like my mom, she would always light candles, and whenever I'd go by them, she's like, "Don't blow out my candle. I'm putting a curse on somebody." I'm like, "I thought you were Catholic," and she's like, "Well, God can only go so far. Sometimes you need a little boost to like really stick it to your enemy."
Yeah. Yeah, it's a kind of normal thing. In fact, like I come from a very similar I'm from Eastern Kentucky, and that region has something called granny magic, which academically is Appalachian folk magic, and it's exactly the same thing, but a different variety. So it's Pentecostal Christianity, and on top of that, there's this layer of like witchcraft, and you have the same thing in a lot of Black communities with like elements of voodoo and hoodoo. So it's basically like these places, through different migration patterns or different kinds of colonialism, will just, rather than oppressing their indigenous religious beliefs, will just fold them into the colonialist religion. So you kind of get something like Santeria or voodoo or granny magic, and it happens all over the place. And it's like totally fascinating to me. So also our lead in these movies, Julio, right? That's his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He is an occultist, essentially. Like in this movie, he's somebody who trades in kind of mystical items like the amulet MacGuffin we get here. And then he literally owns an occult shop in the sequel. This could be like a giant franchise. I mean, it's not that far away from like the Conjuring universe and the Warrens, who like just trade in MacGuffins. All of those movies are about MacGuffins, and so are these. You could have had 8 of these movies or more.
But instead of the Warrens, he's an early 20s guy with a mullet who likes to skeeve on ladies.
That
fucking rules. And who has to have a nice, healthy vegetarian sandwich and a cigarette before he can engage in intercourse.
You know what? I would take the mullet over his ponytail in the sequel any day. I think he's a really handsome man, and that his hair in the sequel really bummed me out because I think he's actually very handsome.
He has a big like style shift between the first and second movies, and I'm convinced it's because he discovered Morrissey and Robert Smith in between the two films. He got very into the Smiths and got very into the Cure. And he's got like a black duster coat he wears the whole time. His hair's up in a ponytail. He got a little goth with it after he got a shop.
You're not far off from that. I mean, as both of you may know, Morrissey is a huge influence on Mexicans, so it's entirely possible that I mean, the actor himself was known for being a singer, but it's just like, if you ever go to a Morrissey concert, 95% of it are Latinos who just
anyone who lives in LA. Anyone who lives in LA knows that there's like a strong Mexican goth streak. When I first moved to Echo Park from New York, I was walking by the lake there and I saw 4 Mexican girls. This is at night. They had candles lit and were doing tarot and stuff. And I was like, I have picked such a good neighborhood to migrate to. And I went and saw the Drums, which is like sort of goth adjacent, but not, is kind of beach goth, I guess you would call them. And it was like 3/4 Mexican people. And I was like, wow, they really do love this goth music.
It's great. Morrissey himself, not great dude. The Smiths and Morrissey music, incredible. Love
music
it.
is good. Yeah.
But again, like, he's kind of shown to be a vegetarian in the first movie, so of course he would agree meat is murder. He's like fully on board.
Yeah. So Gabby, the young daughter in the first movie, falls down a well, which is in fact not a well, but an underground cave full of the witch's old items. And among them, of course, is the Soviet doll.
The babushka doll.
Yeah. Which like possesses her, and then of course things start flying around the house like knives and stuff, and people are sucked into mirrors, and it kind of just becomes a movie where things are flying at people for the rest of the run.
It kind of turns into an Evil Dead movie.
True, yeah, it does.
I am curious from a logistical point, like, because in the opening, when the priest is holding the doll, he's like, "Oh, your powers aren't going to work here to save her anymore," and he just throws it in the well. But then when Gabby falls in the well, somebody installed shelves. Everything is nicely organized in this well area. Like, who went after this witch and was like, you know what I got to do? I got to clean up this well and like
this
make
is
it pretty for her.
The well is cleaner than the house is.
The well is, I mean, the inside of the well is definitely, it's giving Fraggle Rock. It's giving, like, it's, society, underground society of some sort. It's great.
It's giving Nightbreed.
Yeah. I don't have a lot more to say about this movie other than it's really fun and things fly around and stuff like that. But I have a lot to say about the second movie. So before we move on, anything else to say about the first film?
I just gotta say that the niece, Julio's girlfriend, has such, and I mean this entirely genuinely, I don't mean this mean-spirited or ironically in any way, shape, or form, has such a beautiful unibrow.
She's gorgeous.
She looks like outrageously gorgeous. I love her outfits. I love her little like tied off to the side belt and like cropped like sweaters and stuff like that.
Both of these films have very charming leading ladies, I would say. This leading lady, her hair is different in every single shot, but it always looks good. And I think she's very beautiful and very charming. Jose, you wanted to say something about the first film and you got cut off.
So I got a couple things that I got to point out, which first, when the pregnant wife, when Gabby is like, I gotta mess with this baby, it sounds like she's hard boiling an egg or some kind of like bubbling is going on in that stomach. To which point I just thought there's no survival rate at this point. Like, that baby's dead. You gotta cut
boiled inside.
Those are scrambled eggs in there. We literally watch her belly like roiling.
But then the other thing was just in regards to kind of Gabby and what was going on with her. I couldn't tell if, and this just might be me being naive, if the doll was latching onto her, if like, again, if this was the witch latching onto her, who was latching onto Gabby. And that little girl, bless her heart, so annoying. So, and
very cute girl, very terrible actor.
And I love that so many people in this movie, there are so many red flags so many times and nobody listens to any of them. Like when she goes into the room and just sees all the dolls just completely destroyed, and she's basically just like, Gabby, what did you do? It's like, this should
you need to clean up before bed, Gabby.
Yeah.
Okay, but on that point, can we talk about the fact that they're like visiting this house for the weekend, and we get the scene of before they go of like, pack up your things, kids, we're heading out for the weekend, and the boys are like, is there gonna be a TV there? How did Gabby pack seemingly every single stuffed animal that she's ever owned to bring? That entire bookcase is full of stuffed animals, and the scariest stuffed animal, the scariest doll in the movie, is on that shelf. It's not the one she's holding the whole movie. It's like all gray. It has no face and just two black buttons for eyes. It's fucking terrifying.
There's a lot about these movies that doesn't bear scrutiny. Chief among them for the first film is the fact that they're rich and live in a mansion, and then they've bought this really shitty shack in the middle of nowhere. I guess rich people. Oh yes, inherited from an aunt. I guess people do like to go rustic for short periods of time, including rich people. So
I will say I do love that like also. Both of these movies, like this stuff only ever happens to rich people.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Poor people know better.
In kind of Mexican media, you notice a dichotomy between what the stories are being told, and this is getting me being academic, but there's just so much colorism that goes on into a lot of Mexican media. So when you usually watch telenovelas, a lot of the central stories that you have are rich family that takes in like a ragamuffin that's quite literally like rolling around in the dump and is like, oh, you just happen to love my son, let's get you married and make you prim and proper. But more often than not, it's rich people and lighter skinned people, which is why in the beginning I just kind of noted it, that like the one man that has the amulet, he happens to be the darker one and is also kind of the like quote unquote ignorant one that's just like, oh, you got a magic box, I'll give you this magic amulet for your magic box. Which is, the magic still doesn't make sense in this movie because nothing seems to save them. It's just like, just happenstance that he gets out of that mirror.
Well, it also is not, it's like sort of incredulous that anyone would, in 1988 not know what a Walkman is and believe that it's magic. Like, this man lives in Mexico City. He's not like a Mayan in the jungle or something. And even they probably knew what Walkmans were in 1988. Like, it's just like it feels funny. But even I, as an outsider, did notice, like, oh, all of the main characters are light skinned, and then everyone around them who has no dialogue is dark skinned. Okay. Like, it is noticeable. Well, let's talk about the second film, Vacation of Terror 2. What's the subtitle? Remind me.
Vacation of Terror 2, Diabolical Birthday.
Yeah. No vacation happens in this movie.
There's no vacation. We are where we are. And if the first movie is like a slight riff on Evil Dead to a degree, this movie is a riff on Lamberto Bava's Demons.
Well, not just that. They're giving us Nightmare on Elm Street. They're giving us a lot of Poltergeist, actually. The whole thing feels like Not Scary Farm. You know?
Yeah. It is. It's set at a birthday party, which is also set on Halloween.
Yeah.
It's a Halloween-themed birthday party on the side of a movie studio. And similarly to the way that it feels like the first movie recycles a lot of shots of the doll's eyes just looking left and right, I feel like this movie recycles a lot of shots of Julio just walking around the set. There's a lot of just like him from above, like walking around in darkness, and I feel like a lot of those are reused throughout the movie.
So this film, we're back with Julio. He now runs his occult shop, and he gets enamored with a customer who happens to be a young pop star named Myra. What's her name? Myra. And they're kind of flirty, and he gives her the most disgusting fake flower bouquet you've ever seen. And then he's saying goodbye to her. She gets into the car with her father and her little sister, who is holding the doll from the first film. So
but now it looks shittier.
And now it looks shittier and larger. Yeah, and then a crazy man comes in and says, oh, the doll is latched on to her. Here are these magical tokens. I mean, it's like a little hard to describe because it doesn't make a ton of sense.
It's fun. The man is just suddenly in his shop just smashing shit. Like,
yeah.
And then also like cutting himself, but not like to kill himself, just vaguely cutting himself.
The man, if I remember correctly, he is dying, and he just turns to Julio and says, go read this book from the library. That doll's evil. And then he just
picked you. It came to visit you.
Meanwhile, Julio has seen this doll before, which he doesn't mention. In fact, he never mentions the first film at all. So I guess he and that girl had a really terrible breakup, and he just is like moving on. Now he's focusing on his occult shop, I guess. Speaking of going to the library, another one of my favorite tropes is when people go into a bookstore or a library to research witchcraft or occultism. That to me is like heaven.
Deep Red's got a great one. The Howling has maybe my favorite, with Dick Miller up on a ladder.
Rosemary's Baby has it. Race with the Devil has it. It's just, I love it. So he goes to the library and steals some pages out of a very cheap looking prop book that looks like grocery bags. It probably is. But I should mention that the pop star has invited him to a special event, which is where the movie is set. So her baby sister, who has the doll, it's her birthday. It's also Halloween, and her father is a famous film producer. And so this party is happening at his film studio, which to my eye really looks like an abandoned village and not a film studio, but which would have been a much better setting. I mean, the location is really gorgeous and cool and evocative.
Yeah, there's very little reason for it to be a film studio other than her dad's a film producer in the movie.
And that's where the doll came from. It's like a prop from a horror movie he's going to make, or so they say.
So the invite to the party, it's just in exchange for an ugly ass potted plant. And I think that the large reason why they use the studio was just so that you could have different set pieces, so that you could have that rotating room, so that you could have that one well for when it suddenly turns into claymation. And the room is just filling with water. Like there's just so much room to go, but also it just makes it so much more chaotic and so much more interesting to unpack, because like I was telling Josh before, I really want to spend roughly an hour and a half talking about that cake that's brought out. Because
oh my god, that fucking cake.
Let's get into it.
That outrageously dangerous cake with multiple live wires underneath of it.
Well, he shows up to this event, which we have to save some time to talk about Chicos. But let's talk about the birthday cake first. This cake is roughly the size of senior prom. It has a water feature. It's like, I don't know, 8 feet long. It's the size of like a foosball table or like a ping pong table. Roughly.
Larger, almost. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. It doesn't look like a cake to my eye at all. I don't see anything that looks edible.
That's the thing, is like, it's like when you watch Nailed It and you realize, oh, like a lot of this cake is actually just Rice Krispies treats. This cake, it just seems like they took a fold-out table and just like put a bunch of decorations on it and said, no, it's cake, like have fun. And even the decorations have no uniform, no like central theme, no nothing. It's just a bunch of random like 99-cent decorations or something that your kindergartner made for Halloween just thrown on it.
It feels like the movie is gaslighting you. Like, this is a cake. And you're like, no, it's not. And they're like, yes, it is.
And of course it's a cake. It has a water feature. And you're like,
cakes are for water features.
It's going to get wet.
One time I went to dinner with my friend Steve, and we both ordered steaks, and the steaks came, and we were eating them, and like, something about this is strange, because it was like a weird color, and it tasted different. And it was like, wait, this is a pork chop. And so the waiter came, and we were like, these are pork chops. And he was like, no, they're not. And we're like, yes, they are. He's like, I'll ask the chef. And he took them away and came back, and he says, the chef says that they're steaks. And we're like, they're clearly pork chops. We are 35-year-old men. We know what a pork chop is and what a steak is. And so we're like, okay, I guess they're steaks. And we just ate them. And they were fine. But it's like, that's what this movie is doing with cakes. It's like, this is a cake.
Yeah, it clearly isn't. And even going back to the water feature, I feel like if any of that bottom portion were cake, why are you going to put water on it? Like that does not seem appealing to me to have, unless it's like tres leches cake. But that was water that was coming out of that. Yeah.
And again, the movie's like, everyone loves a wet cake. Right.
The movie's literally looking at you through the screen and being like, you eat dry cake?
Everyone dips their cake in water. So when Julio arrives, our pop star Myra is singing her hit song Chicos, which is
incredible.
Like, literally, sincerely a great song. Joel and I have been singing it for a good 24 hours. It really is an earworm. I wanted to see what the lyric. I don't speak Spanish, so I put the lyrics into Google Translate, and I'm going to read you the English. And I think that I'm almost certain that this is a perfect translation. Monday, a snack, full speed ahead, racing clouds, speed full throttle on the warpath, a big holdup, clogs up the whole center, nerves on edge, their belonging, danger of rebellion. Hey, boys, clumsy and aggressive, poor boys, lost in neurotics, boys, her boys super guys, caught in crisis on Sunday. Tough boxer, one punch and you knock me out, shy dancer. Do a crunch and you conquer me. I'm easy to approach with little more than a smile. I stop working as soon as they throw my heart. Boys, super fun. Strength, boys. Not all is lost. Boys. Her boys, super guys. Depressed crisis on Sunday. Boys, I love you. Boys, I need you. Boys, wonderful.
It's a bop.
I think
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. anecdote of when I saw this with some friends. My friend Anthony, he's also Mexican and speaks Spanish. I myself don't speak Spanish, and that's a larger story I can get into. But we were watching it, and we could only watch it on a YouTube rip. And so we put on closed captions because a lot of us don't speak Spanish. And whoever was subtitling it, they were having the time of their life because they were translating the lyrics of it. And at a certain point, they just typed into the subtitles, I don't know what Myra's singing about anymore. I'm just doing my best and, just have fun and listen to the noises that she's making.
Well, so I watched this on Shudder, which, of course, subtitles the movie in English. But when it came to the song, they stopped subtitling it. They were like, we don't know. They subtitled it in Spanish,
Yeah.
which is a language I don't speak, and the language it's already in. And those are the lyrics that I put into Google. So I'm not sure that those are accurate Spanish subtitles of the Spanish that is being sung. Because clearly you heard what I got from it. Not that Google translation can be believed all the time, but
see, like you were saying that this movie is gaslighting you that cake should be wet. This movie is also gaslighting you like songs are in Spanish. Like you should already know what she's talking about. Like
this is a hit song. You don't know this one? We should
I know the song is about boys. I know chicos means boys.
We should say that Myra is played by teen pop sensation Tatiana.
Yes. She's great in this. Beautiful, great voice. And a great... I actually really like the song. I would listen to this song all the time. I think it's like a great late 80s pop song.
She's great. The things that she goes through in this movie, from like
she gets shrunken down to a little size.
She gets shrunken down, she gets attacked, she gets nearly burned, she gets stabbed multiple times. It's just like everything that you can throw at Myra, she is going through it in this movie.
Yeah. So we cut to the doll, which is underneath of the cake / foosball table, and suddenly the doll is a puppet or a costume, or I'm not sure what.
I think it's some kind of shitty little puppet. It's really like, to quote a movie I know Jose hates, it starts looking very fake and shitty looking. It's fucking, it's like, it's all flat. The eyes are like painted on. They're not like separate little moving things anymore. It's significantly whiter than the doll previously. And it decides to eat a little witch off the cake.
That's covered in blood because the little girl,
Yes.
Tanya, has cut herself cutting the cake. Because, of course, the 7-year-old girl should cut a giant cake.
It's her birthday.
And we get that beautiful shot of that shitty-looking puppet eating that
The
witch's
little munching, and we get so much of it.
Now, because the puppet doll ate... Bear this logic out with me. Because the puppet doll ate the witch cake decoration, which had blood on it, it transforms into like a little imp or goblin or monster type
It
thing.
goes goblin mode.
It does go goblin mode. And then it stays in goblin mode for the rest of the movie. So we're kind of, in this film, spared a lot of the Soviet doll that we got in the first film, which I kind of miss. I did like those reaction shots.
Yeah. I also liked the shittier doll of the sequel quite a bit, because it was so much more jarring, especially after watching the first, like immediately after watching the first one. Meanwhile, we have this trippy little dick nose goblin.
Which I actually really hate the actor who plays the goblin, even though they don't have lines. And it's part of the reason, it's the main reason I said that this feels like not Scary Farm or Halloween Horror Nights, because the person playing the goblin kind of moves in a way that they think is scary. It's similar to like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, or, you know, they're kind of like nodding their head like an animal. And it's like, you don't have to do all of that. You can give us a simpler a more subtle performance.
Yeah, I feel like in the first movie there was at least some, I mean, there was a uniform coherence, because quite literally you just have a doll that's looking at things, whereas this one, because it's trying to navigate the space, it just, any logic is thrown out the window, and every logic, like even saying it out loud, oh, the doll ate blood and therefore became a giant imp that just walks around Not Scary Farm. yeah, it makes all the sense and no sense at the same time.
And this throws everything at you. Like there's a lot of poltergeist. The little girl gets sucked into another dimension, comes out covered in gloop at the end. It does the Nightmare on Elm Street, or tries to do, I should say, the Nightmare on Elm Street practical effect where the room is spinning and the actual room is spinning, but it kind of falls a little flat here. There's lots of Evil Dead. It's doing a lot of things.
One of my favorite elements of this movie that I just, when I saw it, I was like, okay, but I think that Julio was in a storage room with the father. And while they're talking about what they need to do, all I kept on looking was in the background. And I was like, why is there a cocktail poster? Like Tom Cruise is just staring at me.
Yes.
In that cocktail, you mean the 1988 film or whatever with
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
And Gina Gershon.
Yeah.
The entire time I was just like, wow, you really just like shoved this into this movie because you didn't need to have that in there for no reason, just for
my favorite little background prop in this movie is almost the cocktail poster, but it's one-upped by during the girl's birthday speech near the beginning of the movie when her dad has her up on the stage right before her sister comes out to sing. There's a little like plastic like Halloween decoration behind her of Gonzo from the Muppets dressed as
Dracula. Did notice that one too.
You didn't notice that.
I took a photo of it. I like paused the movie to take a photo of my screen because I love him. He's so adorable. It's like a 3D like plastic mold too. Like the colors are so beautiful. I love it so much. I want one. How can I buy one?
Gonzo was my favorite Muppet as a child too. But earlier, right in the beginning, when Jose said he was seeing 2 Janice movies, it's funny you brought up the Muppets because I imagined immediately Janice from the Muppets instead of J-A-N-U-S. And I was like, wait, Janice is hosting movies? What is this? And I was so excited. And I was like, oh no, Janice US. Got it.
She had a very wide career. She was married to Roger Vadim for a time.
What if Janice hosted Up All Night, USA Up All Night? Like, that universe would be really great.
That would be a wild universe.
Yeah.
I so deeply loved the Vertilac earlier this year, in which we get a horror movie with all human actors and one puppet. They should... If Disney wants to make some money, they should license out one Muppet at a time to productions and let Janice just be in like the new Oz Perkins movie. She can just be like hanging out in the background. Swedish Chef can be on the bear. Like this can happen.
She would have been great in the Kiernan Shipka role of Long Legs if that were Janice. I mean, as much as I love Kiernan and as good as she was, if that was just Janice, like incredible.
But if you were to do that, you would just have to do the Kimmy Schmidt logic of nobody says anything. They just accept it. Like, this is just the world that we live in.
Like, Muppet is an ethnicity here on Earth, and some people are Muppets, and some people are not. Some people are a different ethnicity. I wish that was the world that we lived in. I mean, I want Miss Piggy to have a talk show, basically.
Again?
Again.
Yeah.
But going back to the movie, so again, the logic. So I don't know who gave the father the 7 silver coins, and that it played such a pinnacle role in it. It just, that part, I mean, there are a lot of parts that fall through, but that part for me was just like, do we really need more added on to this already convoluted story of there are 7 coins, the girl becomes one of them, and then you have to spray holy water at them in order to release them from the binds that this imp doll put them against the wall?
Well, it's kind of screenwriting 101. This movie has like a lot of MacGuffins, like objects that you follow. So it's got the coins, it's got the like what do you call them? The little clay stamps, they call them, that are supposed to protect you. You've got the holy water, you've got the doll. And sometimes like MacGuffins can be a crutch when you can't think of a way to get out of something. You introduce a MacGuffin and then you go back and put it in the beginning of the film so that, you know what I mean? It's like a way, when you've written yourself into a corner, sometimes you can use a MacGuffin to get out of it. This movie's got a lot of MacGuffins. Both of these movies feel like first drafts, like not a lot of revision was done. But in a way that's like pretty fun. I mean, these movies have a lot of charm to them. They feel homemade, like, you know.
It's very charming, but when you start to unravel, and especially at the end when, if I remember correctly, he was reading in the book that the demon could only be defeated by a silver token that was in a specific shape. Where did he get that mold from at the end to make that shape?
I mean, obviously it's the mold that they use to make all of the clay ones that they've been carrying around the whole movie, but that doesn't answer your question. That's like where the production got it from.
Yeah, this movie, the first one, I tend to prefer the first one mainly because it's just a concise story. It's just, there's an evil doll. We need to take care of this evil doll. Whereas the second one, I love it in a different regard because it's just, let's throw every single thing we have at the wall. And it really feels like a Rush sequel, but a Rush sequel in the sense that these people seem to have fun making it and seem to enjoy what they were doing.
It both seems like a Rush sequel, but it also feels like it's an entirely different movie that some producer was like, oh, you've got him in it? Well, we could just call him Julio and we can just we can just shoehorn the doll in and then it can be your goblin monster.
Yeah. I mean, both of these movies feel a bit behind the times to my eye and my expertise about the 80s. I would say that the first movie, which came out in 1988, feels like 1984, just aesthetically. And this movie, which came out in 1991, feels like 1988. Like the fact that this is a 90s movie is sort of bewildering because everything about it is like screaming 80s to me. Including Chicos, 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 which feels like Elisa Lisa and the Cult Jam song, but in Spanish.
God, that song is just such a bop. And even that...
It's so good.
Even that it starts off with her pronouncing Chicos in such a weird way where she's just like, Chicos.
We need to eventually make a playlist, like a Bloodhaus playlist of like really great songs that are in that one movie and has no release outside of that movie. Chicos, Chicos, Chicos. We need to include the song from Angel. We need to include like 7 of the songs from The Boys Next Door.
Yeah.
There's a slew of these.
Yeah, there really are. There's a bunch of those. I love the song Education Blues from Carrie, which is not on the soundtrack, but it's like the rock song that's playing as they come into the prom. And I've done a lot of research on it, and it's by this band called Vance or Towers. So that was the 2 singers. They had 2 singers. They were both cute boys, and those are their last names. And apparently the audience could clap for which singer they wanted to sing the song, based on who they thought was the cutest, which is like such a fun gimmick.
And hurt no one's feelings ever.
Hurt no one's feelings. Poor Towers never got picked. No, I don't. Anything else to say about either of these movies before we move on?
I think that they're both outrageously fun, and I'm so grateful to have gotten to see them. But specifically, as you're going into the holiday season this year, and by that I mean Halloween, and you're planning your Halloween party, and you want to have like a crazy fucking kooky time on in the background that's still very, very visibly Halloween energy, may I suggest Vacation of Terror 2, Diabolical Birthday, a movie with no vacation, and a little bit of terror.
A little bit of birthday.
Very
I will also say I was very surprised at how quickly the birthday was over. I was like, oh, yeah, these extras need to leave. Okay, bye, extras.
The only 2 things that I'll talk about really quickly is, one, if you don't have Shudder, I believe both are available on Tubi. So the second one seemingly has like commercial break points, which are a perfect.
The first one did too. Both of them did. I meant to mention that. Yeah, it feels like they have commercial breaks.
It seemed weird to me, but I didn't question it. But the other thing was during the whole Chicos Chicos song, there was a little ghost in the background that they kept on like pulling on a wire. And anytime it cut away to Myra singing and then they just show a wide shot, you saw that little ghost dancing in the background. Again, this just seemed like a movie where there was so much chaos going on that whenever somebody could have a little bit of fun, they were just like, yeah, just have a dancing ghost in the background.
It's like it's like that Key and Peele sketch about Gremlins 2, where like everything is like, that's going in the movie. Like, anything that you name, we're putting it in. Well, these were such a blast. I'm so glad that we got to watch these. I would recommend them to anybody. How fun. Let's pivot though and play our favorite game. Have they seen it? The game where we speculate wildly whether notable figures have seen this movie. I was thinking of somebody because of Tatiana, the singer that's in the second film. She has no last name. She's just Tatiana because she's so iconic. She doesn't need a last name. She's Mexican-American. I Googled. She was born in Philadelphia, actually. And so I was thinking of another single name Mexican-American pop star. And I wondered if you thought Selena had seen either of these movies before she passed.
I am going to say no, because at least knowing the Selena lore that I know, I feel like she's down to clown and down to have fun, but I feel like that's not something that you would necessarily be watching unless it came on to Univision or a Spanish language channel. And knowing at least that she was Tejana, I feel like more often than not, because she didn't even know Spanish.
She didn't?
She had to learn Spanish as she was growing up. So I think that she more than likely didn't see it.
A shame.
I figured she'd be
missed
watching
out.
Univision or whatever, but I guess not.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Both of these movies are very, very, very kooky and very, very much steeped in like a love of the genre. Of course, like both are like lineage filmmakers in Mexican film culture history, especially Rene Cardona III. Like both his father, Rene Cardona Jr., and his grandfather, Rene Cardona, are very, very famous genre filmmakers, and they like have such a love for the game. And even like the first Vacation of Terror is dedicated to Rene Cardona, which is very, very, very sweet. And especially like the music angle of like having two musicians leading the second film and having like actual pop stars sing and just kind of throwing everything at the wall. It got me thinking about musicians that love horror movies, put themselves and the people they love into horror movies. And I'm thinking as to whether or not Rob Zombie has seen Vacation of Terror, either of them. I feel like if you've seen one, you probably had eventually see the second one.
I think so too. I think if he hasn't, he's about to because of Shudder and Vinegar Syndrome. I think a lot of people are about to see these movies.
I think if anyone has that Vinegar Syndrome subscription that you have, Jose, it's fucking Rob Zombie.
Totally.
More than
I'm sure Sherry Moon like fucking shakes her head every single day, then she opens the door and there's like 15 million packages there.
My person, we talked about this individual and his love of Latinos and how much Latinos love him. I'm wondering if Morrissey has ever seen Vacation of Terror 1 or Vacation of Terror 2, Diabolical Birthday.
I feel like Morrissey's very sniffy about things.
Mm-hmm.
A little snooty.
Do you think Morrissey would enjoy a movie that is as campy as this? I could go either way on this.
I can't see it.
I personally feel like he could enjoy the movie for its own merits. I think where he would stop himself with the first one is the fact that they have them eating meat in the beginning, and he'd just be like, nope, can't watch it. It condones eating meat, so that's the end of that movie.
But I feel like if you showed him the clip of the guy being like, look, your uncle's eating ham, it's full of toxins, bad for you, how could he do that? I'm gonna make a carrot and tomato sandwich instead.
Yeah.
with sour cream. I feel like Morrissey would see that scene and be like, I'm back in.
Yeah. I do love that Morrissey famously loves Los Angeles and everything that comes with that, including the huge Mexican influence that has helped develop this city. I really love that about him, and that makes me think that maybe he has, but I would guess not.
I feel like he has a very snooty like take on horror in general. I feel like Morrissey's the kind of guy of like, I don't go in for that kind of thing. And like, if you really want to talk about cinema and art, like you can do it, but you don't need to like lean on like prurient shock factor. That's I feel like Morrissey's a huge fan of Mexican cinema, but I feel like he's talking about Los Olvidados and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, I could say
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I feel like he's like the prestige stuff. I feel like if you're like, Morrissey, what's your favorite Mexican film? He'd be like, well, Roma was good. And you're like, okay, well, yes, sure. But like.
Well, that's it for this episode of Bloodhaus. If you liked it, please rate it wherever you listen to podcasts. Jose, thank you so much for joining us. If you want people to follow you, tell us where they can do that, or I can cut this out.
So all my handles are essentially Criterion OOP. So wherever you find a social media platform, if you see Criterion OOP, it's more than likely me.
Not
That's
affiliated with the
so
company in
funny.
any way, shape, or form.
That's so funny. Drusilla, what about you?
You can find me and my work over at sisterhydedesign.com. And you can also follow me on Letterboxd if you look for Sister Hyde, and you can see what I think of the 90s Kevin Kline gay comedy In and Out. And you can also follow me on Instagram if you look for Hyde Sister. I should change that eventually so it's rearranged and actually Sister Hyde. But someone has that handle. What about you, Josh? How can people look into your weird collection of dolls?
I am at Joshua Conkel on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Letterboxd. So next week we are diving back into folk horror, one of our favorite places, and getting right back into that Kayla Janice Severin Films box set. What are we watching?
We are going, because I heard your notes in the beginning of this episode about how much you love witchcraft and like early turn of the century American horror. We will be going into 1750, into a small British colony, and we will be watching Avery Crownce's Eyes of Fire.
Can't wait. Love it so much. See you then. Bye.